Pierre-Simon Laplace is a towering figure in the history of mathematics. His is one of the 72 names inscribed on the Eiffel Tower. To find out more about Laplace and his mathematical contributions, I am now joined by Etienne Ghys, who is a mathematician and the permanent secretary of the French Academy of Sciences. Thank you very much for your time. Can you provide an overview of Laplace's life?
Laplace is probably one of the most important mathematicians of the French Revolution and the beginning of the empire. What I can tell you is that he was born in 1749 and he passed away in 1827. He was half a mathematician and half a physicist. It would be not a good idea to say he's a mathematician or physicist. He was both of them. He was so important in the French science that everybody called him the French Newton. He was nicknamed the French Newton. So he crossed so many important moments in French history. He began during the French Revolution, then there was empire, then after the empire there was the new king. His life was long. His mathematics and physics was very diverse. He is a very impressive man.
Now, can you tell us about his major contributions to both mathematics and physics?
Impossible to answer in a few sentences. What I can say, an interesting story. When he was very young, he took a very strong decision. He decided that when we would turn 50, he would stop doing science. And actually, when he was 50 years old, without any effort, he produced two main improvements in science. One was in probability, and the other one was in physics. And he said, after I'm 50 years old, but I'm still good. So he decided to go on and to continue science. If you ask me what is his main contribution, I can give you what I believe is the most important, but this is probably not the answer of somebody else. He was very influential, at least in probability theory and in celestial mechanics. That's for me the two most important parts of his life.
And can you tell us what did he do in celestial mechanics?
You know, celestial mechanics is complicated. Long time ago, Newton understood what's happening when a mass, like for example the sun, is attracting another mass, like for example the Earth. He proved that the other mass will turn around the sun and describe an ellipse. This is the so-called Kepler law. That's okay when you have two bodies, but if you have more bodies, like in our solar system, you have the sun, the Earth, you have the many planets, and all these planets are attracting each other. The question was to understand the motion of the global motion of that. This is celestial mechanics. What Laplace did basically, but it's a huge quantity of work, basically he understood why the solar system is stable. We could hope that the planets are basically rotating on ellipses. These ellipses are rotating slowly. So he understood this global movement. This is the most important aspect of celestial mechanics as done by Laplace.
And in the probability theory?
Probability theory is also very important because at the beginning of the 19th century, what is probability was not so clear. How to use it is just something considered very strange. And he wrote many books on that. Some of them are really, really good books. All the books of Laplace are good, but these ones are especially good. And to give you one example, he introduced what the non-French called the Gauss curve, you know, the Bell curve. He proved what's called the central limit theorem, explaining that the Gaussian curve is so important. You might say this is due to Gauss, but as always in science, it's impossible, or at least very difficult to say. This guy was the first, but the contribution of Laplace in probability is fundamental.
Can you tell us about Laplace's demon?
So one of the famous sentences of Laplace is that he understood that sometimes the physical law is so complicated, it's involving so many parameters that you cannot do anything. It's too many things to do. If you want to understand the motion of all the molecules in this room, too many molecules, you cannot. So if you were so intelligent, if your mind was so powerful that you could understand all the positions and velocities of all the molecules in these rooms, then you could decide for the future of each one of them individually. But the truth is that I am not intelligent enough. My memory is not enough powerful, and that's what Laplace said. If you had an infinite intelligence, you could do, but we cannot.
And finally, he also had a political career. Can you tell us about it?
That's very complicated. Many people make fun of him because he crossed all the complicated parts of our history. He was involved in the French Revolution, and then he was a minister of Napoleon, but not so long, 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I don't know. And after this 4 weeks, or maybe 5 weeks, maybe at most, Napoleon wrote an interesting text saying Mr. Laplace is really good in science and really bad in politics. So he was fired. And all the rest of his life, he was dealing with all political movements. For example, you can see here, he was elected senator. And let me say, he was not very, I don't know how to say. He was okay with all politicians. Be it a king, emperor, he was okay with everybody.